When I think about where I came from, it seems like a big accident. This seems like an accident, to be sitting here with you talking about this. Everything I've done is an accident. Being a SEAL was an accident. Going to medical school, being a physician, being an astronaut, those were all accidents, not part of the plan at all. All I wanted to do as a kid growing up was protect my family. Protect really my mother and my brother from my father, who was very abusive. And like a lot of families, suffered from alcoholism. Some pretty bad alcoholism.
So when you were experiencing that growing up, at what age did you recognize that this was not normal?
It's hard to put a number on when I knew it was not normal, but I remember at a very young age having that feeling to protect my younger brother from it, when the fights were going on or when the abuse was going on, to try and shield him from it. And I have a very distinct memory of actually trying to protect my mother one time, and it didn't go well. And my mother also telling me to never do that again, because out of love, she didn't want to see me get hurt. So.
And then at what age, at some age, did you get to a point where you could step in and defend your mom?
I'm sorry to talk about such heavy things in the beginning of a podcast, but you wanted to know how it all started off. That's why when I think about my life growing up, I was different. I was scared. I was a scared little boy, scared of the world, scared of relationships, scared of talking to people, of going to school, of having my own opinions, of speaking up, or fighting for what I believed is right. I was scared. I was definitely scared of my father. And it was just living on eggshells to make sure to pray. I prayed every night, hoping that things would get better, or that my father would see the light. And all those experiences, while they were terrible at the time, I wouldn't trade any of that for anything. I would never want to trade that, because everything that happened helped form me into the person I am today. And we'll talk about it. The teams helped channel that into good.
So at what point did you hear about the teams?
So I was 16 years old, and I would say being lost was probably a good description of how I felt up until that time. And I was doing like a martial arts thing with my buddies. And I was mostly just doing because a couple of my buddies, Ryan Callums and Keith Blum, were big into martial arts, and I wanted just to hang out. And my buddy Keith told me with passion I've never seen before about the SEAL teams, about a Navy SEAL. And this is like 1999 or 2000. This is like no one knew what a SEAL was. This is pre 9/11. I had never heard what a SEAL was. And he told me with this passion about that quiet professional, that warrior that does these hard things that no one else wants to do and never seeks recognition for those actions. And there was something about that creed that drew me in a way I've never felt before. It called for me. And, so I went home and went on my 56K modem and read everything I could about what it was a SEAL is. And I read a book that was pretty formative for me. It was The Men with Green Faces by Gene Wentz. And my decision was made. I'm like, this is what I'm going to do. And a week after discovering what it was, I told my Mom, I'm going to be a Navy SEAL.
And she had no idea what it was. You had to explain it to her, I assume?
I mean, she didn't know what it was. She just knew it was being a warrior, some type of soldier, an operator, and it was the last thing she wanted to hear from me.
Did you get drawn to it? I mean, imagine like you know, you're saying that your whole life you felt scared and you felt weak and scared of your dad. Did you think, hey, if I do this, it's gonna allow me, give me the capability to protect people, including
Absolutely.
my mom?
Absolutely. That is completely on point. You know, when people ask me why I wanted to be a SEAL, it's so easy to come up with the superficial reasons. Like, yeah, I wanted to get paid to blow up stuff and jump out of planes and serve my country and shoot guns. But those are all fake, superficial reasons. Those are absolute pluses, but that is not why I wanted to be a team guy. I wanted to be a team guy for what you said. I wanted to transform my life. I wanted to learn the skills, to develop the strength, to become a different person, to find my identity, be someone that could protect the people that I loved that couldn't protect themselves. And now that I have more awareness of human psychology and the experiences in our environment and how it shapes us into the people we become and the decisions we make, I realized that it was completely born out of my situation with my father and wanting to protect my brother and my mother, and that extending to really all people. I thought, this is nice, it just goes to show how little we know when we are young. I thought that being a SEAL would solve all of my life's problems. And it gave clarity and focus to so many, but it probably created just as many more. But it gave me tools to deal with those problems. Mm-hmm. But it was a pretty naive thought. And I even said it to my mother. I said, being a SEAL will solve all of life's problems.
So you're in high school. Are you doing sports or anything like that?
Yeah, so I was a big swimmer. I played water polo. And after I found out what it was to be a team guy, I did all my research. And Stu Smith, who I recently learned is in the world of kind of like making fitness Navy SEAL guidelines and workout plans. Mm-hmm. I found his book, which is maybe like the first edition or second. It might be a later edition now, and did all those workouts, and then did it twice through, and just tried to push myself every day after school. I went to Santa Monica High School, so the beach was 3 blocks away. So always doing swims and runs and a lot of calisthenics, a lot of push-ups.